Mr. Secretary, I have received, along with Congressman Crenshaw, several hundred whistleblower complaints about Pentagon extremist and diversity training. I want to share just a small selection of what your own troops are saying. And Mr. Chairman, I have a longer list that I'd like to submit for the record.
Without objection.
Again, this is just a few examples. One Marine told us that a military history training session was replaced with mandatory training on police brutality, white privilege, and systemic racism. He reported that several officers are now leaving his unit, citing that training. Another service member told us that their unit was required to read White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, which claims, and this is a quote, "White people raised in Western society are conditioned into a white supremacist worldview." A member of the Special Operations community has told us that they are being instructed that, quote, "the U.S. Special Operations community is racist." One Army officer relayed to us the words of his general officer who told him that the entire U.S. Army is racist. A midshipman at the Naval Academy said classmates are calling America a fundamentally racist place and that this sentiment is not contested by school administrators. An airman told us their unit was forced into a racist exercise called a privilege walk, where members of the wing were ordered to separate themselves by race and gender in order to stratify people based on their perceived privilege. One African-American officer disparagingly said, and I quote, "The Navy thinks my only value is as a black woman and not the fact that she is a highly trained
fucking
military
nigger woman,
specialist."
of course. A nigger woman.
Soldiers have come forward to tell us they are being forced to watch videos about systemic racism and documentaries that rewrite America's history as a fundamentally racist and evil nation. One Space Force officer told me that 2 Guardians left his ranks in a short period of time. One was a young African-American who said that after the training, she would never have joined the military had she known that it was such a hotbed of racism. The other was a white airman who said he didn't sign up to be indoctrinated and filed separation paperwork. Mr. Secretary, we're hearing reports of plummeting morale, growing mistrust between the races and sexes where none existed just 6 months ago, and unexpected retirements and separations based on these trainings alone. And again, these are not my words, these are the words of your own troops. So I want to ask a few simple but vital questions. Mr. Secretary, do you believe that our military is a fundamentally racist organization? Yes or no, please?
Well, I won't give you a yes or no answer.
Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Double honors be to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the elders in Akim that is pushing this word with truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Now, what you see before you is you have an ex-general from the United States Army. He retired maybe, let's say, about 14 years ago, I believe in 07. He is he's the head of Department of Defense, Austin Lloyd, whatever. Anyways, he's deflecting all these questions that this, I guess, the guy that's asking on this, the Edomite that was talking to him, I guess the chairman or secretary or whatever the fuck he is, he was asking all these questions to this general, Salakia, to the Secretary of Defense about the state of racism in the military. All right, through all the branches, you got your Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard is not considered in the military, but we're just gonna add them in there as well. And you got your bullshit cyber force. All right, so all these institutions that comes from this branch, they're all a racism. All right, they're all a racist, and I've seen it myself, but nevertheless, this fucking nigga, which he might be a terror, man. If you brothers creep his spirit, he might be a terror, man. The way he talks, his mannerisms, it doesn't come from like a Jake aspect, man. He just sounds like a terror, and I pray he's a terror. I hope he's a terror, because he's a coon anyway, at the end of the day. And if he's not a coon, he's going to get destroyed by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, regardless of the fact, man. But he just deflects the questions. Just be straight up, man. The military is racist. Because you got to understand the embodiment of the United States military. It involves all nations, man. This is the most diverse institution in America. All right, you got Chinese, Japanese, Korean, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, who makes up the majority of the military. Mind you, you got these crackers, these Edomites, East Indians, Arabs, you name it. All the nations embody the United States military. That's why I'm gonna bring this scripture out when we keep we're gonna keep listening to this coon deflect from these questions.
On that, Senator, because it deserves more than a yes or no.
Yes or no?
The military, like any organization, will have its challenges, but I do not believe it is a fundamentally racist organization.
Thank you. I'm sorry to cut you off, but our time is limited. I think it is a pretty simple question. I'm glad that you agree it is not fundamentally racist. Do you believe that any member of the military should be treated differently based on their skin color and sex? Again, yes or no will do.
Again, this question.
There we go.
deserves
Hey,
more
yeah,
than a
no,
yes
I
or
gotta
no.
stop this. I have to stop this, Salakia. And what's his name? His name is Tom Cotton. I'm not sure what his position is.
Racist.
In
Do you
office, he
believe
might
that
be a
any member
congressman.
of the military should be treated differently based on their skin color and sex? Again, yes or no
Salakia,
will do.
we're gonna keep
Again,
playing.
this question deserves more than a yes or no.
All right, there we go. Hey, so this coon right here just cannot answer a simple yes or no answer. Now we're dealing with the so-called top men of America, the Secretary of Defense. All right, which Sleepy Joe put in office. He put a nigga in office. All right, but based off his mannerisms, based off the way he carries himself, I don't believe he's an Israelite. I think he's a terror. Only we'll find out in that day. But through the spirit, I believe he's a terror. That's not really the thing. But he deflects like a bitch, man. He deflects like a woman. The Edomite man, clearly asked him, "Yo, is it yes or no?" And this fucking coon deflects the answer. Oh wow, I believe. Like, damn, it's a yes or no, man. Because you can't answer a question. Because you're hiding something. You know that the military is divided. You know the military is crumbling. You know the military is made up of bullshit morals, Salakia. And the history is flawed, man. You know what the United States Army has done, the cavalry has done to the Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, the Judites. You know what they've done? The Trail of Tears. All these wars that these Edomites is giving was a part of with Gad and Reuben. So fundamentally, the military is brought up off some bullshit. Man, excuse me. Let's keep going.
It is.
Mr. Secretary, I'm sorry to cut you off. Our time is limited. It is a very simple question. Should a member of the organization you lead be treated differently, in violation of the Constitution, I would add, based on their sex or the color of their skin?
No, I do not believe that, and that is
Okay.
why we have diversity, equity, and inclusion focus in the military.
And the military for decades has been one of the institutions in the society where you are most likely to get ahead based on your own performance, on your own merit, irrespective of the color of your skin or where you came from or who your parents were.
Sir, I absolutely agree with that, and I am an example of that.
Your
But
distinguished
I would
career is an
I would also
outstanding-
say that
Mr. Secretary, your career is an excellent example of that. But I have more questions based on the reports we've seen. The military has included the works of critical race theories on its reading list by authors like Abraham Henry Rogers, who now calls himself Abraham Kendi, and Robin DiAngelo. Mr. Kendi has written, quote, "The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination," end quote. Do you agree with that proposition?
I've not read that, and I don't, I certainly don't agree with what you just said, but
Mr. Secretary,
it's always important to have the full context of anything that you're being asked to evaluate.
That's duly noted.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that race and sex should be the key factor when selecting combat leaders, rather than, say, operational excellence, technical proficiency, leadership, agility, and integrity?
I do
we gotta
not,
hear this.
Senator. I think what you just said should be key components in making any selection.
Now let's go ahead and let's go into the contradiction of what this nigga just said. All right, so if you based off of physical performance, physical mental performance, based off what you just said, there should be no women in combat arms. There should be no women in a leadership position in infantry, in combat engineering, in field artillery, in special operations support units. Based off what you just said, Secretary of Defense Austin, there should be no women in the combat arms. So what the fuck are you saying? We're gonna rewind this again because we have to hit this, man. Because based off what you said, there should be no T words, no F words. Because their mental capacity cannot take it. And I'm gonna be straight up with you. Women, let's just say women in general. We're not talking about the T's and the F's, all right? Women in general, they cannot withstand the mental or physical capacity of going to battle. Hence, World War I, World War II, the Revolutionary War, any war, hell, going to a one-on-one fight, man, at a bar. The women cannot handle that type of stress, man. That's why men and women are created differently. But these programs, equal opportunity, those programs are bullshit, okay? It doesn't make sense. It contradicts itself. Let's go rewind 20 seconds back just to hit it home, man. Because
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that race and sex should be the key factor when selecting combat leaders, rather than, say, operational excellence, technical proficiency, leadership, agility, and integrity?
I do not, Senator. I think.
So why do you have women as company commanders, in combat and military occupational specialties, huh? Why do you have females in the ranks of these technical and dangerous occupations? Why do you have platoon leaders as females that are made to disengage, disarm, destroy the enemy? What are we doing? What are we doing, Secretary Austin? You coon? You goddamn coon? That's just one thing that's destroying American military. Another thing is everybody's waking up to Esau and his bullshit, man. Everybody's waking up that he's the devil. Everybody's waking up that the military is just a bunch of hypocrites. The general, the leaders, everyone, their morals, the principles, it's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this scripture real quick, man. This is St. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? How shall your military stand, Esau, if y'all going into mandatory racial doctrines? You know, what is this? Tom Cotton says critical race theory encourages racism in the military. It doesn't encourage it, man. What it's doing is waking people up. Because why should there be mandatory training on racism? If this is the big bad America, if this is the country that is the principle of great morals, why the fuck we having mandatory training on it, huh? Why is it mandatory training to say that so-called white people are privileged and so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are at the bottom? Why is that? Why is there equal opportunity? If you guys are perfect, you guys are an embodiment of morality here in the world, because you guys are a bunch of fucking hypocrites, man. All right, and I'm looking dead at, and I'm looking at this coon right now, man, he got to be a terror, man. The way he is, man. If he's a nigga, the Most High is gonna kill this nigga. Just, oh man, man, I can't wait, man. Bald faced nigga, man. And I'm jamming a little. I'm in the spirit, man. But let's just finish this video up and close out.
What you just said should be key components in making any selection.
Yeah, but you got
Thank you. I'm
T-words
glad
and
we agree on all
L's
this.
and women.
So let me just wrap up by saying this. If troops are subjected to the kinds of trainings drawing on critical race concepts like America and our military is inherently racist, or certain races are inherently privileged, other races are inherently victimized, given what you've said, should they report it up their chain of command or to the Inspector General or to other appropriate channels?
They've always had, yes, they should. They've always had that ability to do that, and I would recommend that in the future. I would also say that diversity, equity, and inclusion is important to this military now, and it will be important in the future. And so we're going to make sure that our military looks like America, and that our leadership looks like what's in the ranks of the military.
What you said, our military looks like America. What is America? Confusion. Confusion, okay? That's what America is. Babylon the Great is confusion. Hey, you guys are through, man. Hey, man, you guys are divided in the militaries. How can you go against countries like Russia, China, Iran, Korea? How can y'all go against them if y'all are divided, man? These troops, these crackers, these niggas, they see past it now. You got a bunch of Edomites in the military that are agreeing with that the American military is racist. Jake is seeing that in the military, man. That's why they getting out. That's why they out there. They're being rebellious against you higher ranking NCOs or officers. They're being rebellious. They're growing their beards. They're growing their hair out because they don't believe in this American bullshit no more, man. This land of the free, home of the brave bullshit notion that y'all been spewing down people's brains for the past some odd years, man. America is flawed because it's built off of slavery, rape, rob, and murder. It's built off of straight wickedness, man. And Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to destroy your militaries, man. All right? And niggas like you, the Most High is going to destroy you, man. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, Bashim Al-Kagadash. Double honors be to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the elders in Akim that is pushing his word with truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, while Bible ball, death to Esau, death to the heathen, death to the 2/3, death to you Uncle Tom niggas. Shalom to the hopeful elect.